guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, I scored a mid-2007 Imac 20-inch display, 2 gigahertz dual core with 3 gigabytes of RAM and a whole whopping 250 gig hard drive. Woo! So excited. Well, hey, come on, look at it this way. Back in the original OS of this, Mac software is not very big. I mean, very small, but very powerful programs. Of course, we are running El Capitan, which is the maximum operating system for this puppy. I got it without a keyboard or a mouse, and of course, it was not operational either, which, when we made the deal, they told me it was operational. So I had offered 50 bucks, you know. They had wanted 100 for it. They had taken it from, I think it was 300 down to 100. Anyways, I offered 50 bucks on the condition that it worked fine. Other than the fact no keyboard or mouse, they said it was fine. I get there, it's an hour drive for me. It's like the thing gonged and it just hung there doing nothing on the Apple's boot screen. And I'm like, this is not good. There's definitely something wrong here. And who knows? But yeah, so I said, I'll give you 20 bucks. Like, that's it, top dollar, nothing more. You know, like, I have no idea what could be the problem with this thing. It could just be a bad OS, it could be, who knows, but you said it worked, and obviously, you know, we sat there for like 10 minutes and this thing is not booting. And so anyways, it's also missing the RAM cover, which was not a big deal. The RAM actually loads underneath this thing, down below, but I don't really care about a cover plate, like whoopee. Didn't even know how much RAM was in it at the time. Didn't really care, because they listed this as a screen. And it's like, kind of some other picks, and then of course the one pick they gave me was the bottom of the foot, which had the specs on it, and I'm like, that's an iMac, you know? So I didn't mind offering 50 bucks, it's an iMac, right? And, but then of course, if it doesn't work, it's not worth 50 bucks, you know? And it's kind of like, I don't know. Bottom line is we found out that it was the CD-ROM causing the problem. There was a CD stuck in it, got it unstuck, no problem. Threw in a good CD, because that was obviously a movie CD we hauled out of it. No OS CD would read. And I have CDs here, because this didn't come with them. And none of my OS CDs would work. And I'm like, okay, so there's obviously something wrong with the ROM. So I took it all apart, ripped out the CD-ROM, ripped out the hard drive, reformatted the hard drive, was actually able to get an operating system back on it without too much difficulty. And lo and behold, it runs, but the CD-ROM is definitely toast in it, and that's fine. It's got 3 USB ports, so what the heck? You just plug in an external $50 CD-ROM that's Mac PC compatible, or I believe you could probably plug a SuperDrive in. I never tried that yet. I do have an Apple SuperDrive here, so I haven't tried to plug it in yet. But either way, who cares if the CD-ROM's there? It's going to be for nostalgic games, because every time Apple upgrades us, we lose out on some of our favorite games sometimes with an OS update, right? And I'm getting a little fed up with that myself. So I'm starting to collect a couple of older Macs just so I could run all those games still. You know, so I do have a few other Macs. I have a G4 that a buddy of mine just gave me about a week ago, and I've been playing with that with OS 9.2.2, and I love it. Oh, the games, man. I can't believe it's been so long since I've had an older G4 with OS 9 of all things on it. But we do have, of course, El Capitan installed on this thing, and I already have keyboards and mice, so no big deal here. But we do have 3 gigs of RAM, OS 10.116. We have 128 meg ATI Radeon graphics card in it, no big deal. Not much for games on here yet. I'm going to still have some loading to do yet to get a bunch of stuff, but you know, as far as the main system goes, even with El Capitan, things are still pretty snappy overall. You know, let's fire up, well, iTunes. I love iTunes. I should just actually put my whole CD library on this thing. Come on, iTunes. Yes, we know. Yes, that's fine. So it does actually fire up. And of course, we do have our regular Mac chess game, of course. So there's our chess game here. I don't care about speech. Anyways. So, not much on this thing yet. Still got a lot of loading to do. But it works fine. You know, it's no glitches, no hiccups, no screen bouncy. None of those problems at all. The one thing you will find, though, is this thing's got 3 fans in it. And if you disconnect the CD-ROM on a permanent basis, because you don't have a spare one that works, you will find that the fan that actually cools the CD-ROM down, because there's a sensor involved, it's going to run basically full blast all the time. So, you know, you can't really control that other than you leave the sensor plugged in and maybe use it on the case, you know, and then you could control it. Because I was trying to control stuff with max fan speed control, and because I took the sensor completely out, I can't even control the fan. It just goes wide open, and the other 2 run at whatever speed I set them at, which is fine. So I may have to crack it back open again, just put the sensor onto the chassis, and then I can control all 3 fans, because I don't need to listen to that racket. So, you know, but whatever, it works. And the sound, the speakers work fine, and everything else works fine. Just the CD-ROM was baffed. I don't even care to look for a replacement internal CD-ROM. There's no point to it. It's an old dog, and it's definitely worth the 20 bucks I paid for it, you know. Yeah, if you really miss playing the older games, try and find yourselves one of these. But they usually go for $100 to $200 with keyboard, mouse, and in perfect condition. And when I mean perfect condition, I mean like new condition. They're worth usually around 200 bucks tops, really, even though people are asking a little bit more. But I think a more reasonable price of fairness is about 100 bucks for a complete system with the OS CDs and everything, worth about 100 bucks. Missing anything then from original, then the price starts going down lower. Intel Macs, by the way, in case you don't know, in about 2 years or less, Apple is going to be completely annihilating all Intel processor-based Macs. So that means they're not going to be producing anymore. They are not going to be updating your OS for you anymore, no matter what. And that's the way it goes. They're doing a total cutoff. Because why? M1 chips are out. And what happens when the Intel systems are completely cut out of the wax? The prices are going to plummet, as they should be plummeting now, even on the used market, even for older Macs. I get some people like to say, oh, it's a collector's machine, and you know, well fine, go sell it to a collector that might pay you that, but likely not. Okay, it's really not worth that kind of money. It's old, it's hard to find software, you know, it's crazy nuts. But either way, I mean, it's still something you can't even safely put on the internet anymore. Any operating system right now that's below, I believe, Catalina, because Catalina is running out of support too, but anything below Catalina for an OS, you have no support, you have no security whatsoever. So if you're surfing with a machine with Mojave on it, for example, or anything lower, then yeah, you're taking your chances, you know. Catalina, pretty soon you're going to be taking your chances. And that's the problem I ran into with my late 2013 iMac, was the simple fact that it couldn't run Big Sur. It couldn't upgrade from Catalina to Big Sur, so I had to upgrade. I had to schedule anyway. Even though Catalina still has some support right now, that support's probably going to be gone very soon, because Apple's about to release yet another huge OS, which is a whole new revamp. So it's got a whole new name and everything to it now. So how long are they going to support Big Sur? Probably not very long, which means Catalina is going to be cut off pretty quick too. So you never know. But that's how it goes. And even getting this thing updated with the Yosemite, anything higher leveled, not happening. Can't even get GarageBand back into it properly with any of the sounds, because it says, oh, a newer version's available, but you can't install it because you don't have Big Sur. So you can't even download the extra sound files. So you get the stripped down version of GarageBand, which is kind of like pointless. But whatever, you know. So anyways, $20 score. I like it. It's not a bad little machine. Works well. Should work well for my purposes anyways. Let me know just what you guys think. If you guys got one of these even. You know, what's your opinion on these things? So far I think, you know, I think it's alright. I mean, I'm not here to give you a review on star ratings or anything on it. But if I was going to, well, it would have to be in 2007. This would be a fantastic machine. In 2007, I would probably rate this thing at an easy 4 out of 5. It's a fantastic little unit. Maxes out to 4 gigs of RAM tops. There's 3 in it now. 250 gig hard drive's a little on the puny side, but hey, you know, you get what you get. You can always upgrade it anyways. So, but as far as the rest of it goes for this day and age of 2021, I would say, well, it's definitely useless on the internet, even though you can actually still do some surfing with Safari. You know, there are sites you won't be able to go to because it won't let you. And there's a lot of stuff at the App Store that just isn't going to happen. But if you've got a lot of access to older games, especially from Mac format CDs, BMUG CDs, then you can still get a lot of your games and stuff. And for nostalgic stuff, you know, like you can run the video games, right? But I wouldn't even try to do anything. I wouldn't even try to log into a bank account with this thing. It's so insecured. But it is a fun little machine so far that I'm finding. So to me, it was worth the 20 bucks. But in today's viewpoint, if I was to review this and give you guys what I think of it in all honesty, well, it's fast and zippy with El Capitan. 3 gigs of RAM is more than enough for it, even running the programs. It doesn't take up a lot of space, which is nice. It doesn't weigh a ton, which is nice. You know, it's easy to get into stuff, that's for sure. Some stuff a little harder maybe if you're doing your own maintenance. But generally overall, I'd probably say in this day and age, I'd rate this thing at, because of what you can't do with it now, I'd have to actually drop that 2007 4 out of 5 rating down to probably somewhere around 2. Is about where I'd probably stick it, to be honest, because all it's good for is basically playing offline video games, you know, and even trying to find some of the parts. Yeah, you can find them on eBay, you know, and a few other places. You know, if you needed a CD-ROM or something, you might be able to find one. But and you can definitely upgrade the hard drive much bigger, especially with El Capitan. You could easily put a terabyte drive in this thing without an issue. But otherwise, yeah, it is what it is, right? It's a $20 computer to me. But I like it. I think it's fun. So, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. See ya.